Hi folks, this is Vicki from patternprincess.com. Thank you for joining me today. Today I wanted to show you how to work the border of this lovely granny square blanket. You can see the border of it here. And we're going to be working this part of it. This granny square blanket is made up of two different kind of squares. One is with this darker pink, which is perfect pink. And these are red heart yarns I'm using today. And then this color here is a gray. It's a dark gray. It's called charcoal. And then this square is made up of petal pink and then a dusty gray. And so these four colors are combined to create this lovely afghan. And the edge, the border here is very nice and ruffly, and not too much ruffle, just a little bit of a weave, but it just has a really nice feel to it. And then the squares are joined with the granny, I shouldn't say the granny, the invisible join. I just used some yarn and a yarn needle, and I joined them this way, and I do have a video on these. I have a video on how to make the squares themselves. This video is going to show you how to do the border to each one, okay? So let's get started. I did use an H size hook. I will have all of the details on my website at patternprincess.com, so you're certainly welcome to go there and get the free pattern. Today, I'm going to use the petal pink, and then the dusty gray as a square. Now we're going to pretend that this is a whole blanket, right? We're going to pretend that all of the squares are joined together, and we're working on the whole blanket. What's really cool, this is the fourth blanket out of a series of 6 I've done with different borders on them. And they're all in like blues and pinks and grays. When I get done crocheting the border around, it makes a really nice lovey. It is so cute. So whoever is going to get this baby blanket gifted to them is also going to get a lovey. And I just love how these turn out. So size H crochet hook, and then red heart yarn, and I'll have how much, the yards, and all the instructions again on the free written pattern on the website. So let's get going. The very first row that we do is going to be using that darker perfect pink color, and to be honest, we're going to just continue on with a row all the way around the whole blanket of the same granny stitch. But I'm going to show you, I just joined the yarn, and I'm going to show you how to work that. And so the very first thing that I do is I actually have to do my slip stitch on my hook. So I just put my fingers through like this. Here's the end of the yarn over here. So I put my fingers through and I just bring them around. So I have this little loop. I stick my hook through there and I bring one of the loops through, and I have a slip knot. So that's how I do it. This is how my grandmother taught me to do it. I'm sure that there are plenty of different ways of doing a slip knot, but that happens to be how I ended up doing it. So you can see it's a little bit darker pink color, but you can choose anywhere on the side, any side. You could even start in the corner, but I usually choose one in the side. I'm going to choose one that's over by the edge here, so I can just make sure that you can see me do this one and another one, and then the up here, so you can make sure that you see how to do this first row. So I have the loop on my hook. I insert my hook, and I grab the yarn, bring it through the loop, and then I just snug this up, because you're also going to be crocheting over this, so you just snug it up a little bit. So now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. If I can get it through here. Okay. Oh, I thought I missed a yarn loop. There we go. 3. That does count as a double crochet, and I'll probably tighten this up more later. Let me see if I can snug that right now. It's bugging me. But we're going to crochet over that anyway. So right in that same spot, we're going to do 2 more double crochets. So again, just as you would when you're working the rest of the squares, you're just continuing on. Once they're all joined together, you're continuing on with this same pattern. So now we have 2 double crochet and a chain 3, and that counts as 3 double crochet. Then just like you did on all the other ones, you do a chain 1. Then we're going to skip these 3 double crochet and work in this chain 1 space, and then we're just going to do 3 double crochet. So we yarn over, we yarn over, go through 2 loops and 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2 loops, that's 2, and then our 3rd double crochet. And then we chain 1. Now we're into the corner, going to work in the corner. We're going to skip this 3 double crochet. We're going to work in the corner. The corner has a chain 3. And we're going to repeat. So in the corners, this row here, the gray row, it's 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And that's all worked in that chain 3 space. We are going to do the same thing right now here. So we're going to do a 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And so on each corner, that's how we're going to work that. And on each edge, we're just going to continue to work our 3 double crochet and then our chain 1 in between. It's going to get a little bit more yarn here. So I did my chain 3, right? And I'm going to yarn over, and in that same place, now we're going to do another 3 double crochet, and then we'll have our first corner done. So that's 1, 2, and then 3. And so now we're going to continue up the side, and we'll do a chain 1, and then the next chain 1 space we do a 3 double crochet. And it's funny when I try and work slow like this versus fast. When I do it on my own, I feel so clunky. But I try to slow it up so you can see. So I would just continue on and get these strings out of the way. So I'm going to continue all the way around and do my 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, but then each one is a 3 double crochet, chain 1 on the sides. And then I'm going to meet you right back over here when I get done with this row. So I'm going to go around the corners and come right back here, and then we're going to end with our 3 double crochet right here. Then we're going to chain 1, but then we're going to slip stitch into the top loop here of the first chain 3. And so I'll meet you right back there, okay? Okay, so I finished my first round here of the border, and I just did my last 3 double crochets in this chain 1 space. So I'm going to do my chain 1, and then I'll slip stitch into the top loops of the initial chain 3. Okay, and I'm just going to pull my yarn through for right now, and I have a nice long tail on it, so I can weave my yarn ends in later. It's both, of course, this one I crocheted over already, and by the time we get done with this, you won't be able to see where I started and stopped. So for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to round 2. Round 2 is just a single crochet. So if we take a look, we have this really nice, this little definition of the dark gray, the charcoal gray in here, and that's just a single crochet in each stitch. And I wanted to make sure that the pink showed up nicely, so when I got to the chain stitches and when I worked my into the chain stitches and the 3 chain stitches in each corner, I just worked the back loop because I wanted to make sure that the pink showed up. So because if you crochet in it and around it, I just wanted to make sure that there was that definition of the pink and that we had the nice definition of the dark. So that's the only thing is when you do the chain stitches, it's easier to just work in the back loop. So we're going to get our next, and you can, again, join your charcoal yarn anywhere that you want to join it. It doesn't have to be in the same spot we just ended. In fact, sometimes I like to move it over because you really don't want it in the same spot because you can get a lot of bulk when you're kind of weaving things in. So it just kind of gets it out of the way, really. So it's kind of nice that you can join it wherever when you do it like this. Okay, so let's just start. I'm going to start one over. So again, I'm just going to work in the back loop in this very first one. This is a chain stitch that I'm going to put it in. Okay, and so then I have it in, we're going to yarn over, bring it through. So in the very first, bring it through, if I can do that. So in the very first one here, we're just going to do a chain. That's going to count as our single crochet, and I'll tighten this up later. So then we have our stitches, our 1, 2, 3, and then we have our chain stitch here. So we're going to go into each stitch. So each of the top of the double crochet, we're going to do a single crochet. So it makes it kind of easy to go in here. You don't have to fight to get through there. And then when you just work in the back loop only on this one, or even just, if you can really fight through it and go through the top loops. But I just work in the back loop only, or even the back 2 loops, but at least the back loop. Oh, I can't get in there, there we go. And just work your chain. And now we go right back to this one here. And it works really nice for the corners. It's really just very easy to do. So we're just going to single crochet. And then again, remember, we're above each one, and then we got our 3 chain stitches here, and we're going to do the back loop of those. And so the pink shows up really nicely underneath it and makes a nice little defined line. So all we do is a single crochet in every single stitch. So I'm going to continue working this around. We're going to end in that right back into that first chain with just with a slip stitch, and then we're going to change yarn colors again, and then we have a couple more rows to do, and then we will have the border done on this. But it's just a very pretty and very easy stitch to do, and I'll show you in a minute how nice this is looking. But see, then we got that pink showing through. See that? The pink is showing through. If I didn't do it the way I did, if I yarned over and went around each one, you wouldn't have this definition of this pink. That pink would be lost here and here. So that's why I'm taking the time right there to just work in that back loop, okay? So I'm going to work around, and I'll meet you back here, and we'll get going with the next row. Okay, so I've just finished round 2. I'm going to have to get my yarn sewn in here. But round 2 now, we just did the charcoal gray, single crochet all the way around in every stitch, okay? So now we're going to work with our dusty gray. We're going to go back to the lighter gray, and we're going to work round 3. And round 3 is going to consist of a single crochet and skipping stitches, okay? So single crochet, our very first, I'm going to just join my yarn. I'll join it like a couple over here. So I'll join it right here. Sometimes when I'm working different patterns, I'll actually pull the yarn through the last loop and whatnot. But today I'm just going to make sure that I join my yarn this way. I think it's sometimes a little bit more secure when you're working in these borders and this type of pattern, so that you don't have it come loose on you. So anyway, so we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That is going to count as our single crochet and a chain 2. Then we're going to skip 1 stitch, okay? And right here we're going to single crochet. So in the next stitch we're going to single crochet. Then we're going to chain 2, skip 1 stitch, and the next stitch we're going to single crochet. Okay, chain 2, and then we're going to skip 1 stitch, and then we're going to single crochet. In the corners, I just did my first corner stitch, so you can tell in your corners you got those 3 single crochets in the corners that are in your 3 chain stitches. And each of those we're going to do the single crochet, which I just did here, and then we're going to chain 2. We're not going to skip a stitch. We're going to go right to the next single crochet, or I should say, yes, I should say the single crochet and do a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to go right to the next single crochet. So right now we've done on the sides, we've done a single crochet, chain 2, skipped 1, single crochet. That's our repeating rows on the side. And when on the sides here, what we're going to do is we do our single crochet, chain 2, don't skip any, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, don't skip any, chain 2. So we do it 3 times, and then we're going to go right back into the next stitch. Now we're going to continue our side pattern, which is chain 2, skip 1, right? We skip that stitch, single crochet. And we're going to work this pattern all the way around. Chain 2, skip 1, single crochet. So I'm going to continue to work this. Just remember, in your 3 single crochets in the corner, you don't skip. You do your single crochet, chain 2, next one, single crochet, chain 2, next one, single crochet, chain 2, then you single crochet in the next one, and then you continue on with your single crochet, chain 2, skip 1, single crochet, chain 2, skip 1 on the sides. Does that make sense? And I'm going to come back here and I'll end the row over here, and then we will have row 3 all done. Okay, so we have round 3 all done. So this is how this looks. It's really starting to take shape, and I just love how these colors are going. As you can see, we've just completed here our first little row, and we have 2 more rows to go that are going to be made up of double crochets now and chain stitches. So this is going to get, this is where it starts to get a little bit roughly, but that's okay. It's not too bad, just a little bit. So we're going to slip stitch over into this chain space here. So I'm just going to slip stitch over here. So right working in the, well, okay, maybe I'm going to slip stitch. So there we go. So we're working right into, from now on, we're going to be working right in the chain 2 spaces. In every single chain 2 space around, nothing different in the corners. This is what we're going to do. We're going to, the initial one, we're going to do a chain 3 for the initial double crochet. And then we're going to chain 2 more, because then that is our initial double crochet and then our 2 chains. So we're going to yarn over and go right back in that same chain 2 space and do a double crochet. When we end later on, we're going to end up doing a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the initial chain 5. So I'm going to yarn over, and then we're going to go right to the next chain 2 space. We're going to skip the single crochet, and we're going to yarn over. We're going to do a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the same spot, and we go right to the next. So we're just going to continue to go double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So this really starts to work fast. And so right here in the corner, we got our chain 2 spaces the same way, except we didn't skip a stitch in between, and that's so that all of this lays flat when we, or at least a little bit. You can see here how nicely this lays. See that? How nicely that lays? So that's the way we did this. So we're gonna yarn over it. We just do our chain 2, or I should say a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet right in that same spot. And then the next one, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Whoops. And then our next one, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So I'm going to continue working this all the way around. You see how that's laying, how nicely that's laying? I'm going to work this all the way around. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in every single chain 2 space. And then I'm going to meet you right back over here with a slip stitch again into the 3rd chain, right here of our initial chain 5. Okay, I'm just about done with this round. This is round 4. So again, I've just been doing my double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So I'm just going to continue that. And this works up so fast. And now I'm getting to my last one here. This is a little bit loose because this is where I started. So I'll fix this later when I go ahead and I weave in my yarn ends. So this is the one that I started from over here, right? So this is the one I went over here and I slip stitched over to here. So I have, if you can see, this was my initial chain 3 or chain 5 and over here. So I have one more to do. I wanted to make sure I showed you this so you could see, oh, what am I doing? So that you could see what it's going to look like when you end it off. So we chain 2 and then I go into here. I'm going to do my double crochet. And now remember, because in between we're not doing any change in between the double crochet. So I need to go to the 3rd stitch. So we got to count into our 3rd stitch right here, and I'm going to put my hook right through there, bring it through, and complete a slip stitch. And now that looks just like the other ones do. But now, of course, this is a smaller version, but it looks a little bit ruffly, and it's going to be, right? Because it's a little bit ruffly on the bigger one. So now what we're going to do is exactly what we just did. I'm going to chain 5, and then I'm going to go ahead, and that's going to count as my double crochet, and then my chain 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to yarn over, go right back into that chain 2 space, do a double crochet. I'm just going to continue, and I'm going to skip these 2 double crochets, just keep working in the chain 2 space, and then do my chain 2 and double crochet. And so every stitch around, just like we just did, it's the same pattern. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So it just makes it very fast. This is the part of the pattern, these last couple rows here, where you can really do this and watch TV, watch your favorite show, and the results are so pretty. And it feels a little bit lighter than the rest of the blanket too. So it has a really lovely texture and feel to it. So I'm going to do this all the way around, and then I'll show you what the results look like on this little lovey that I'm ending up making here. But I hope that you enjoy making yours too, and show me the results on social media. I'd love to see what they look like. So I had to count what I was doing there. So I'll finish this up, and I'm going to meet you right back on the other side when I get done, okay? Isn't this looking pretty? Isn't it looking pretty? That really gives it a pretty border. I'll see you soon. Hi folks, I told you I would let you know as soon as I had this done here, and I just finished my final row. And this would just be such a lovely little lovey for a child. I think it would even, this one here would even be pretty as, you know, just as a tabletop, or you put a vase of flowers or something in the middle of this. I just think that this would be so pretty. And it does have a little bit of a lacy, ruffly look on the edge. Not bad, but it's on purpose, just a little bit of a ruffle. So just really cute, very nice. I love how the colors go together. And hopefully when you're watching this, you have yours done too, or you're working on yours and finishing it. So I appreciate the time that you took to watch this. Thank you for watching, and then please remember to like, share, and subscribe. The written pattern, remember, is on patternprincess.com. And thank you, and have a wonderful day.